the Nightmare Parlor.
Good Morning San Francisco. Submitted by Anna H.
This is Matthew Thompson. It's currently 8 a.m. This is a message for Fox News. If the Republican presidential candidate gets any more airtime this week, more will follow. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
Middle of Nowhere. Submitted by Harry James.
As a kid, I was extremely afraid of the cartoon Courage the Cowardly Dog. In real life, I live in an apartment in the city, but I keep having this dream about living on a ranch in the middle of nowhere. It's the house from the cartoon, but at the same time it's different. As long as I can see the daylight peeking through the windows, I'm fine. When the night falls, I'm nervous. I never sleep. I spend for what seems like hours just listening to the sounds. The windmill with the rotating blades behind the house. The old creaking wood, the wind just barking up against the windows and walls. The feeling always creeps up on me in the darkest hour of night. I'm not alone. The shadow doesn't move. Sometimes I stand and wait for a minute, sometimes for hours. But in the end I always run to the basement to grab a shovel and run outside. I dig a grave and bury the lifeless body. Because he was standing so still and didn't even flinch when I raised my shovel, I wondered if he was ever alive to begin with. I returned to my bed in the empty house, lay awake for a while and feel the feeling again. This ritual repeats itself during the night. The people in the dark have different heights, and from what I can tell, some are male and some are female. But they are all lifeless and they don't flinch when I decapitate them. My yard is slowly filled with shallow graves. Creeped out by the thought of having these corpses in my yard, I decide to move the bodies tomorrow morning when I wake up. But I don't get the chance to do so. The next morning, on the spot where the graves were, a gigantic tree stands with big arms that look like they are trying to hold up the sky. While I'm moving closer, I slowly start to realize what made this tree grow.
The White Widow. Submitted by R. Monsy.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Nightmare Parlor. Please keep sending in your nightmares and bad dream stories via the link in the description, and maybe your dream is the next to come alive in
The Nightmare Parlor.
Good night!